Hello everyone, my name's Danielle and this is Excalibur Books, and today I'm doing a book haul, specifically my birthday book haul. So I have a pile of books that I got for my birthday, and I do have a couple that I have got since then because it has been almost a month since my birthday. I'm very lucky to have got these gifts from my boyfriend and my mum. Yeah, let's start off with the ones that weren't for my birthday. So I got a couple of subscription boxes, and I also do have a parcel to open and some pre-orders. So first I pre-ordered The Witcher, the new Witcher book, which is Crossroads of Ravens, which is a prequel, which I was so excited about because I thought the Witcher universe was going to be finished, but we got this one announced. This is following Geralt on his first mission, I think, when he was about 18 years old. Pre-ordered this one from Waterstones, just a normal edition, but then I subscribed to the Broken Bindings brand new science fiction fantasy bi-monthly subscription, and lo and behold, it is The Witcher, Crossroads of Ravens. I was a bit, mixed feelings. I'm super happy to obviously have this special edition of my favourite franchise, but if I'd known, I wouldn't have pre-ordered the normal edition. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I think I might just keep both of them. I guess I'll read it first, and if it's not if I'm not blown away and love it, like I'm suspecting I will, then I might sell the original one and just keep this one. I'm super excited to get to this. This is a great first book to that subscription box. The edition is beautiful and the end papers are stunning too. I don't know if I mentioned this one in my last haul, but I'll just quickly mention it just in case I didn't. But in a Abominable Book Club box, I got Burnt Sparrow by Eric LaRocca. This is a special edition as well, but this one I am so excited about reading. I don't actually know what it's about, but the reason I'm so excited for it is the reviews of people that got advanced reader copies. They're giving me a lot of buzzwords and everything. This is going to be a series, I believe, so I'm holding off on reading it because I can't find any information on how many books there's going to be or how long we're going to have to wait for the sequel. So I'm holding off for now, which is really hard. But I think this is a small town horror. I don't know if it's an extreme horror or not. It says 3 faceless entities arrive on Christmas morning to perform a brutal act of violence. That sounds really interesting. I have still yet to read an Eric LaRocca, and I have a few of them. I am a little bit intimidated, I'm not gonna lie. I am worried that I'm not gonna like them as much as I hope, but this is the one that I think I'm gonna like the most. So I got another Abominable Book Club box recently, and I got these 3 books out of it. So the book of the box, the brand new release, was Chuck Tingle Lucky Day, and I've been seeing this everywhere. I haven't really looked into it. I wasn't that interested in it. Looking through it, looks like it might be a short story collection, which I do love reading, so yeah, that's piques my interest more on that one. This is the first time the secondhand book is actually something that was on my wish list that I wanted to read, and that is Hide by Craig Russell. And I think this is about, but it does say dream world and 2 realities, which I don't actually like dreams in books. But what interests me was it takes place in Victorian Edinburgh, and there is murders, and our main character Edward Hyde hunts for those responsible and becomes entangled in a web of cultist occultism and dark scheming by powerful figures. So it's like dark occult magic kind of set in Victorian Edinburgh. It sounds very atmospheric. I'm just a bit iffy on the dream world state that it talks about. And then I got Blood Like Mine by Stuart Neville. I don't know if this is, I think this is another new release. It was released in 2024. I'm not too interested in this one. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it or not. It seems like a FBI thriller. I might keep it, but it's like a special agent, FBI agent tracking down a serial killer. Seems like quite a generic story. One that I've started to stray away from recently. I got 2 library books out the other day. I got a Fragile Enchantment. Now I mainly got this because there is a like square on the Reddit fantasy bingo board that's like you have to read a book to do with like textiles or incorporates textiles in the story. This one is about a dressmaker who is tasked on making the princess wardrobe for a royal wedding, but the magic in her blood lets her stitch emotions and memories into the fabric. Yeah, there's another series that sounds similar to this that I want to read as well. I think this one is a standalone, which is why I opted for this one, and it was like easy for me to get from my library. The only thing is it's YA, so I'm concerned about that going in, but I'm usually okay with YA and fantasies. And then I also got the Blue Book of Nebo. I don't really know what this is about, but it's short, and I saw it on Books and Lala's channel and she really enjoyed it. This is YA as well, and I think this one is like a post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic story, dystopian maybe. It says Dylan was 6 when the end came back in 2018. When the electricity went off for good and the normal 21st century world he knew disappeared. Now he's 14 and he and his mum have survived in their isolated hilltop house above the village of Nebo in northwest Wales. Despite their relationship, each have their own secrets. Thoughts and memories which emerge as in turn they write in a found notebook, the Blue Book of Nebo. It might be more of like a lit fic, but I'm willing to try it because it's a shorter one, so it should be quick to get through, as well as being like YA, so even quicker. Right, so before we get into the birthday books, I have 2 more books here that I brought for myself. So I was getting a bit of FOMO and I did purchase this book, which I didn't think I was going to purchase, but I saw it for cheap on Amazon and everyone's been talking about it, and it does seem it's going to be my type of book, 'cause it's been described as dark. And that is Alchemized by Thankyou. I think this was published as something else. I'm not really sure. I've not really looked into it. I didn't read that. It's a massive book. The name and the cover like immediately draw me into it because it's dark. I like all dark fantasy alchemy stories, but I've not seen the best reviews since its release. I tend to find if it's like really hyped, I tend not to like it, and if it's like disliked, I tend to like it. I've seen someone say they had to stop reading it because it was too dark, so I like dark stories and I'm apprehensive, but I can't wait. Now I have a bit of an unboxing because I have this parcel from Waterstone, so let's get into it. I know what it is because it's my last pre-order that I've done for them. And I've read all the other books to do with this book, like part of this series, and I have actually unhauled them. Waterstone's had this on for half price. I don't know if it's signed, it might be signed, but I do enjoy this series and most of them like 3 stars, so if it's the same as that then I'll just put it on Vinted, but whilst it's £10 I thought I might get it. Oh, it is signed, even better. That is the Philippa Gregory, The Boleyn Traitor. So I don't know in what place this book comes in the Tudor series, but I've read them all anyway, so I can just jump straight into this one. But yeah, the Tudor series is one of the first things that I read when I was getting back into reading. I don't know where this is signed. It literally says signed by the author and it's not signed. Oh, found it. It's right on the first page, just there. I didn't even know this was coming out, but this obviously must be a Boleyn story. Jane Boleyn watches from the shadows of the Tudor court where nothing is more powerful than a secret or more deadly. As the Boleyns rise... Okay, so it's like in the peak Boleyn timeline. Jane rises with them, but the king's love is a fickle thing, and when the royal gaze turns elsewhere, Jane uses her only weapon she has, her voice. Okay, so I'm excited to go back to like Anne Boleyn and the Boleyn sisters timeline, because they were some of my favourite stories in the Tudor timeline. Yeah, excited to get into this one. So now we just have all the books I got for my birthdays. I'm not going to go into the synopsis too much because I don't really know, to be honest. I'll just give them a list of books that I wanted, and yeah, this is what I got. First one, this was actually a new addition to my wish list and I saw it recently on Instagram, and that is We Are the Dead by Mike Shackle, and I think this is a dark fantasy series like Game of Thrones, and I love Game of Thrones, so I want anything like that. I want to get into more grim dark fantasy. Yeah, this one, it seems perfect. I think this is a trilogy, and this one's been on my wish list for a while. That is Shades of Milk and Honey, and this is like a Regency England fantasy, and it seems like a crazy fantasy to me. Well, that's like a crazy fantasy to me anyway. I feel like it's going to be similar to like the Tudor series, but like with glamour magic. Next one has been on my wish list for ages, but I keep forgetting about it, and that is Black Tide by Casey Jones. Now, I actually don't know what this is about at all. I've completely forgot. But it's set on a beach and then the world ended. Oh, there's a meteor shower. I don't want to read much more. So it's an apocalyptic horror book set on a beach. Next is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. This is another English historical fiction, and I think this one is to do with like dressmaking and stuff as well, so this could actually fit that bingo prompt. I think this is a romantasy, and this has got fae in it as well. The Empusium, this says it's a health resort horror story. This is set in 1913, and I am scared by this one because it seems really dense. The chapters are really long and it's translated, but it's won a Nobel Prize, so I do want to try it. There's loads of characters as well, and they all have like Polish names. Next is The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. Again, no clue what this is about. I just hear people talking about books and I like the sound of what they say. Add it to my wish list and instantly forget about it. But this is a epic fantasy, and I think it's an adult one. It's something to do with gods and powers that people get from gods, I think. Then I got a memory called Empire by Arcady Martin. I was seeing this around everywhere last year and I really wanted to read it. I think it's like a mashup between a sci-fi and a fantasy, and I think it's about like a murder investigation from what I can remember, which I love a blend of like a murder investigation and a fantasy. I also got The Lamb by Lucy Rose, which everyone is reading right now, and I really want to get to it too. I'd love to get to this one before the hype dies down, but I think this is like a cannibalism horror story. Then I got Stitches by Hirokatsu Kiara and Art by Junji Ito. I usually put a Junji Ito on like my birthday wish list every year, but this one is not like a normal Japanese manga. It's actually written stories, so it's like a collection of short stories with pictures throughout, and then as you get to near the end it says you need to turn the book around because there's a manga at the back. Not what I was expecting, but I'm excited to get like a different format of like Japanese manga short stories type of thing. The Pink Argave Motel is a collection of short stories, and I think they're all horror stories that take place in this motel, so they're probably all connected in some sort of way. And this is indie published, and I usually like indie published horror, so yeah, really excited for this one. Then I got Case Study by Graham McRae Burnett. I read, I think it's called His Bloody Project, a few years ago now, and I remember not really liking it at the time, but I always think back to that book and I think if I read it now I would really like it because my tastes have changed and I feel like I would love that now. So I got another book of his, and they're written like they're non-fiction but they're fiction, and from what I remember he I think in the last one he writes like himself as a character investigating like whatever happens. Like this one, our main character's sisters died and she thinks that her therapist has something to do with it. So they're investigating that, and it's like a case study, like notebooks, mixed media type of story. So I'm nervous because I remember the other book being quite dense, but I'm excited to see if I like this author's stories now. And then lastly, I got this book off Vinted because I saw it quite cheap, because this book is expensive to buy. That is Playground by Aaron Beauregard. I'm so scared to read this book because it is an extreme horror. I just want to know if I'll like it. I don't know if I should read it. I sort of know what it's about, but let me know if you read it and warn me. Well, don't spoiler it, but warn me if it is intense in the comments. But yeah, that's all the books I have got recently, including the books I got for my birthday. Please comment down below what books I should prioritise and what books you have read out of this stack. And that's all I've got to talk about today, and I'll see you next time I upload a video. Thank you for watching. Bye.